Hi friends, good morning. Happy Wednesday. I am here with just a quick overview of your lesson for today. So on Monday and Tuesday, you did a content review for units 1 and 2, and today we're going to be doing some skills practicing using our content from units 1 and 2. So you are going to be focusing on outside evidence and hipping. So if you open this document here, this is what you will have. And so it's two different parts. I'm going to go through each briefly, and then that's all you have for today. So the first part is outside evidence practice. We are going to look deeper into the rubric for the DBQ next week, but if you haven't already looked at it, just so you know, now outside evidence is worth a possible 2 points. So it's going to be, depending on the score you want to get on the DBQ, outside evidence is going to be very important, possibly, for your success. So we're going to practice doing some of that. You need to identify and explain one piece of specific evidence that could address each of the following. Remember, it needs to fall within the appropriate time period of 1200 to 1450. So make sure you are pulling something from this time period because that's what we're reviewing right now. This is not a full writing assignment. It's just identifying evidence and including enough information to make it clear that you know what you're talking about. You can choose to do this in complete sentences or in bullet points. So an example I've done here for you is identify and explain religion influencing state formation between 1200 and 1450. So in northern India, various Hindu clans united loosely under Rajput kingdoms until they were conquered by Islamic invaders who set up the Delhi Sultanate. That's an option, like one sentence, or Abbasid dynasty claimed Islamic caliphate, opened Islam to non-Arabs, treated Jews and Christians well. A more like bullet point, broken down answer. It is basically a pared down or a simplified SAQ. I don't need you to explain as much, but that's basically what you're doing. These questions are kind of formed in the way you would be asked a FAQ. So identify and explain. It doesn't need to be perfectly aced, answer, cite, explain, but I want you to pull out some specific evidence that you could use. Let's say if this was the topic of your body paragraph for your DBQ, or if it's related to your prompt on your DBQ. Okay, so that's what you're doing for part 1. I also challenge you to do this without any notes. Okay, so maybe go through first round and try to do this without any notes. And then second round, if you're having trouble and struggling, then you can reference your notes from this week or your other notes from this time period, okay? Next thing you are doing is some HIPP practice. So you're going to evaluate the historical context, intended audience, purpose, or point of view of each of the documents. Again, if you have not looked at the rubric, hipping is now worth 2 points, and it is not all or nothing points anymore. So it used to be that for hipping, you had to hip 3 documents to get 1 point. Now you can hip 1 document and get a point, or hip 2 documents and get 2 points total. So depending again on what your strategy is going to be for your DBQ, this could potentially be very important for you to get the points that you want. So I have 3 sources here for you that you are going to hip and explain. Remember, the most important part of making sure this is a successful hip is to explain why it matters. So why does the historical context matter? Why does the intended audience matter? Why does the purpose matter, okay? So for the first one, I've done an example for you. Christopher Columbus describing his first encounter with the indigenous Arawak people in his captain's log. I've identified the purpose here. And so the content of his encounter or his log is, they brought us parrots and balls of cotton and spears and many other things, which they exchanged for the glass beads and hawk's bells. They willingly traded everything they owned. They were well built with good bodies and handsome features. They do not bear arms and do not know them, for I showed them a sword. They took it by the edge and cut themselves out of ignorance. They have no iron, their spears are made of cane. They would make very fine servants. With 50 men, we could subjugate them all and make them do whatever we want. Okay, so, um, like I said before, I've used purpose here, and this is what I've done. Columbus's log was intended to document his first journey to the Americas. Although it was a private document, it might have been used as evidence to convince the Spanish crown to fund more expeditions. Because of that, Columbus emphasized the natives' willingness and ignorance, possibly to show the king that his investment would bring an easy conquest and a lot of material rewards. Okay, so this is explaining what the purpose is and why it could potentially be important, right? Why it matters that this was the purpose of his log, okay? This, if you were to take this little excerpt and put it into a DBQ, when you're talking about, let's say you had a prompt on exploration and, or the social impact or something like that, this could be a appropriate HIPP, an example of hipping that would get the full point, okay? Because it's explaining the purpose and why that purpose matters. Cool? That's all you've got for today. You're going to hit these 3 documents below, and that's it. I will talk to you soon. I will see you for your conferences on Friday if you signed up, and if not, I'm around during office hours. Don't forget 2 to 2:30, Monday through Thursday. All right, guys, have a great day.